The Celestial Gate Tavern sat at the edge of the galaxy's most notorious trade station, a place where species from 1,000 worlds mingled, argued, and occasionally tried to kill each other. It was the kind of establishment where a Xinthian could sit next to a Kreller without incident, provided both were too drunk to remember their people had been at war for 3 centuries. Clara Wynne had worked there for 2 standard years, serving drinks and dodging marriage proposals from beings with too many limbs. She'd seen it all. Plasma fights, telepathic poker games, even a hive queen giving birth in Booth 7. But she'd never seen anything like the creature that stumbled through the door that evening. It was small, barely the size of a house cat, with iridescent scales that shifted between emerald and gold. One wing hung at an awkward angle, clearly broken, and a deep gash across its side leaked luminescent blue blood onto the tavern floor. A baby dragon. The tavern fell silent. Every patron knew what dragons meant. They were the apex species of the Draconis Imperium, a civilization so advanced they'd been starfaring when humanity was still painting on cave walls. Dragons didn't come to places like this, and their young certainly didn't wander in alone and bleeding. Clara didn't think. She simply moved. She dropped her tray, crossed the room in 4 strides, and scooped the injured creature into her arms. It was heavier than it looked, its scales warm against her skin. The dragon's eyes, ancient and intelligent despite its youth, fixed on her face. It made a sound somewhere between a purr and a whimper. "It's okay," Clara whispered, cradling it against her chest. "I've got you." The dragon's scales began to glow softly, responding to her touch. Around the tavern, patrons backed away. Touching a dragon without permission was a death sentence in Imperial law. Touching an Imperial offspring? That was genocide-level offense, but Clara wasn't thinking about laws. She was thinking about the medical kit in the back room, about the regeneration foam that might seal that wound, about how scared this little one must be. She was halfway to the storage area when the tavern's main entrance exploded inward. Emperor Valerian entered like a force of nature, which, technically, he was. In his humanoid form, he stood 3 meters tall, his presence filling the room with an almost physical pressure. His scales, visible at his neck and hands, were deep crimson, threaded with veins of molten gold. His eyes blazed with fury and fear in equal measure. "Where is my son?" Every being in the tavern dropped to their knees. Every being except Clara, who was too focused on applying pressure to the baby dragon's wound to notice the Emperor's arrival. Valerian's eyes found her instantly. A human holding his heir, covered in his son's blood. The temperature in the room spiked. Valerian crossed the distance in a single step, power crackling around him like a storm. Clara looked up just in time to see death descending. Then the baby dragon chirped. It was a happy sound, content and safe. The little creature nuzzled against Clara's chest, its scales brightening. It began to purr, a sound that resonated with harmonic frequencies that humans shouldn't be able to hear, but somehow Clara felt in her bones. Valerian froze. In 3,000 years of life, spanning hundreds of campaigns and countless diplomatic encounters, the Dragon Emperor had developed certain assumptions about lesser species. Humans, in particular, were curious, innovative but reckless, brave but foolish. They'd only achieved interstellar flight 2 centuries ago. They were children playing at civilization. But this human wasn't cowering. She wasn't negotiating or begging. She was applying medical gel to his son's wing with steady hands, whispering soft reassurances, treating the heir to the greatest empire in the galaxy like he was precious simply because he was hurt and small and needed help. "The wing needs to be set," Clara said, not looking up. "I have a stabilizer in the back, but I need to clean the wound first. Can you hold him steady?" Valerian stared at her. "You dare to command me?" "I'm not commanding. I'm asking." Clara finally met his eyes. "Your son is hurt. Do you want to help him or stand there looking intimidating?" Something shifted in Valerian's chest, a feeling he hadn't experienced since his own father died millennia ago. Humility, perhaps, or recognition. He knelt. For the next 20 minutes, the Dragon Emperor, conqueror of star systems, architect of the Pax Draconis, took instruction from a human waitress. He held his son. He fetched supplies. He watched as Clara's careful, gentle hand set the broken wing and sealed the gash with regeneration foam. "Where did you learn this?" he asked quietly. "Veterinary training before I came off-world. Couldn't afford full medical school." Clara smiled as the baby dragon licked her hand. Turns out anatomy is pretty universal once you understand the basics. The dragon infant's scales had returned to their normal luster. He looked up at his father, then back at Clara, then made a decision that would reshape galactic politics. He climbed from Valrian's arms back into Clara's, chirping contentedly. Valrian laughed, a sound like thunder across mountains. He has chosen you as kinfriend. Do you understand what that means? Clara shook her head. It means you are family now. By ancient law, you are under the protection of House Valrian. More than that. The Emperor's expression softened. It means my son, in his wisdom, has seen something in you that I was too proud to look for. He stood, drawing himself to full height. Humanity has petitioned for a seat on the High Council for 50 years. We have denied them, believing them too young, too volatile. He looked at Clara, at his son sleeping peacefully in her arms. We were wrong. I don't understand, Clara said. You showed kindness to a stranger because it was right. Not because of laws or treaties or political gain, just because he needed help. Valrian bowed, a gesture that made every patron in the tavern gasp. That is a wisdom my people have forgotten in our long dominion. You will come with me to the imperial homeworld. You will teach my people what you have taught me tonight. Clara looked down at the sleeping dragon, then back at the Emperor. I still have 4 hours left on my shift. Valrian smiled. Consider yourself promoted. 3 months later, humanity received its council seat. The official reasons cited their innovative approach to interspecies relations and demonstrated capacity for compassionate governance. The real reason purred contentedly in Clara Wynn's quarters. His wing healed perfectly, teaching her the language of stars.